before we begin this episode of Stitch Method, I just want to jump in here and say a couple things. Number one, this video is long. There's a lot to do. I go very slow. I layer on concepts so that we can build up from wherever you are. Also, I'm doing it in one dedicated place for the solos. For the regular mid solos, they're going to be between right about here. And then for the ending A to D jam, we're going to do it up here. Yes, if you find out how to do this anywhere, you can do this anywhere. The charts will have that. The Patreon account will have that. All that fun stuff. But just to educate and just to show you how it's all done, we're going to stick to one place per solo. So I really hope you enjoy this. Take your time. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And again, thanks for being here. On to the video. All right, welcome back to another episode of Stitch Method. Today it's going to be a fun lesson. We're going to be doing an In the Mind of Masterclass for Mississippi Half Step. It's one of my favorite songs. And then about last week, somebody commented, like, can you do an In the Mind of for Mississippi Half Step? And I was like, why haven't I done that? So here it is. Before we begin, make sure you share and subscribe if you like this and you want to share it with someone. I love teaching, and I want everyone who's out there who wants to learn to share this experience with. I'll stop talking. All right, so here's the deal, is I have a backing track very, very slow right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to learn the first solo series during the jam, and then the ending epic one. We'll learn both of them, but we're going to take it slow, and we're going to build it up in terms of the baseline, what you need to survive the solo, and then how to dress it up and dress it up more. So we're going to start off very simply, and you want to be able to get these ideas because the simple stuff is kind of like the safety net for everything. And so in order for us to really succeed at this, we have to know the chord progression, and it is a doozy. So I'm going to show you. It starts off with an A minor. This is for the jam section or the solo. It's an A minor, and then it's an A minor major seventh. Now watch this root note. It comes down to the major seventh, and the rest of the A minor chord is preserved. And then it's going to go to an A minor seventh. That root note comes down one more fret, and then the root note's going to come down even one more fret. And you're going to put your finger here, and you can see that we've come down to the 4th fret, and we've preserved this upper A minor 7 type thing. And when you do this, you actually end up getting a D9. Now, just to let you know, if you're like, I've heard this before, it's very similar to the beginning of Michel by the Beatles. And so we have this. That's the first part of the solo. After this, we get to an F chord. All right? And then after the F chord, we're going to go to a D minor. Some say D minor 7. I'm cool with that, whichever one you like. D minor or D minor 7. And after D minor 7, it's going to go to a B7. And then to an E7. Now it's like, whoa, what in the world? But with that being said, we need to look at the second half of the chord progression. Starts off the same. A minor major 7. A minor 7. To the D9. Then it's going to go to an F, like usual, but now it changes to an A minor. Then a D7 and a G7. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was jamming with people and they said, hey, why don't you come up and play? And they said, here's the chord progression, I'd look at it and be like, are you serious? How am I going to solo on top of that? And that's how cool this chord progression is. And I think the way that Jerry Garcia handles it is nothing short of beautiful and inspiring. So let's look at everything. Where do we begin? Well, the cool and good news is, like I said in the beginning, you can see this A minor, the A minor major 7th, the A minor 7, and even the D9. Right now, all those pieces contain an A, C, and E. A, C, and E, which is an A minor. All of them. It's here. And so we can safely start our ground level soloing with an A minor pentatonic off of all 4 of those. Now, this will change as we get, higher and higher into the echelon of like Jerry Garcia playing. But it's important to know that if you wanted to play this right now, you can use an A minor pentatonic. I have a backing track loaded. It's extremely slow. It's to show you that you can do it. So I'm going to play an A minor pentatonic. Kind of like this never lost pentatonic, and then into the form 2, where we'll find out that Jerry loves to live sometimes. And so let's see what we can do here. Anything special? No. But it sounds fine. And don't worry, I'll speed up the backing track in a little bit. But over that whole entire part, the A minor pentatonic. Let's just do it one more time. How about you play with me? Now I can't hear you, but I'm assuming that you're going to be playing with me. And you don't have to play the same notes as me. If I'm playing an A minor pentatonic and you're playing an A minor pentatonic, it's going to sound like we're duetting. Okay, let's try this out. One more time. 1, 2, ready, and... Good. I'm assuming that we did well together. Now, after that whole sequence, we have an F chord. Now, would the A minor pentatonic work there? Yeah, but we really want to start thinking about these chord changes. And then we have this F chord. I'm playing a C-shaped F chord. And just in case, there are going to be a lot of videos linked below. If you want to find what pentatonic goes with the C shape, it's the form 4 or C-shaped pentatonic. And I just released some videos on that. And so we have this F chord, and the good news is that that's going to a D minor, and both the C shape and the A minor shape share the same exact pentatonic shape, which is that form 4, which would be 5-8, 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 6-8, 5-8. Now, in my Patreon account, maybe a little bit later, I'll kind of demonstrate doing it up here, but for now, we're just going to learn everything in this area. And so when we switch to an F and the D minor, we're going to switch over to this F major / D minor pentatonic. Okay? And so let's take it up to that level. We're going to play all through it from the F to the D minor, nice and slow. I'll shout it out. Let's see. A minor pentatonic. F major pentatonic. Same pentatonic for D minor. Fantastic. Again, it's slow. We're going slow, but we're going to speed it up, and we're going to put a lot more on top of this. All right, and after that, we have the pleasure of dealing with a B7 and an E7. Awesome. What do we do there? Well, we do actually what Jerry Garcia does, which is we focus solely on the chord tones. And so I'm going to bring us up here to a B7 chord, and I'm going to show you this little arpeggio, 1, 3, 5, 7, or 7, 5, 3, 1, and even this flat 7 here. Okay, this little... We're going to use that. And then for the E7 chord, we're going to look at the E7 arpeggio. Now you got to watch carefully. I'll put a chart up here, but it's 7th fret of the A, then 6th fret of the D, and then we're going to do 9th fret of the D. Okay, that's 1, 3, 5, and then we're going to do the flat 7, which is the 7th fret of the G, and then back home right there to the E. And we're just going to use that for now. Just an easy one. So again, for the B7 and for the E7. Now playing them in whatever order you want, that's up to you. And when you hear Jerry Garcia do it, of course he'll do it everywhere, but you can hear him get kind of crazy with the cheese whiz. And so let's see if we can put this all together. I'll shout it out. I'm not going to shout. I'll say it out loud, see if you can follow me. 1, 2, here we go. A minor pentatonic. F major, D minor, B7, E7. Okay, sorry about that. My son came in and I was just about to say the backing track will get faster. We will apply more ideas. We are just kind of laying the framework for you so you feel good and solid in your steps. Now we're not done yet. As we know, we have the second part of that progression. A minor to A minor major 7, to the A minor 7, to the D9, to the F, and after the F is where it changes. It goes to an A minor. Guess what? A minor pentatonic. Fantastic. And so I'm going to kind of write this stuff down with me because I want to speed this up a little. On the A minor, it's going to be the A minor pentatonic. For the D7, you'd be surprised. I thought when I first heard this, I'm like, oh, he's going to go for those chord tones, but he keeps really a D minor mindset, and you're going to go back to this D minor pentatonic that you were here right here. Now, of course, you can throw in your D7 chord tones if you want to, and they'll be on the chart. But from the A minor and the A minor pentatonic, when it goes to the D7, he kind of goes back to the D minor chord and really hits that minor third. And it's really interesting. And then the G comes, and right here we're going to do what he does. he really just uses the G major arpeggios. Now watch this. 5th fret D, 4th fret G, and 3rd fret B. That's the 1, 3, 5. But what does he do? Like he does in every major chord, and we'll discuss this, he's going to blend the minor third up to the major third. The old tip of the hat to the bluegrass days. Excuse me. So now I'm going to try and do everything. So if you need to be like, what just happened? Pardon my French. What the heck just happened? The idea is you really want to go slow, rewind this, and you want to try and see if you can capture all those things I just said. I'll try and say everything out loud. Let's see if we could get it together. Let's see. A minor pentatonic. F major, pentatonic, D minor pentatonic, same thing. B7 chord tones, E7 chord tones. A minor pentatonic. F major pentatonic, A minor pentatonic, D minor pentatonic, G chord tones. All right, we fleshed out level 1. Now, if you have any problems with this, rewind it and go slow. See if you can get this mindset down. This is the bare bones minimum. All right, again, I'll speed this backing track up in a couple minutes. We can hear it all together. But let's talk about next layers, okay? Interestingly enough, a layer that we can talk about right now are special notes and chromaticisms. A lot of what Jerry Garcia is doing is in the A minor pentatonic for all this, but he's doing these beautiful chromatic runs stuff, and he's also putting some special notes in. So on the A minor, what you want to do for this the chromatic stuff is you want to look at whatever A minor pentatonic you choose. In this case, I'll do this guy here. Any notes that are 2 frets apart, okay, you can trial run some chromaticisms on there. Now I'm letting you know, if you can see the chords in there, great. If you can see the chord tones, fantastic. But the truth is, if you're playing a pentatonic, you already have 3 chord tones buried in there. And so playing by feel right now and just learning how to put some chromaticisms in is what you want to do. All right, so if I have here this, we can see. No, I'm not going to put that in one. That's a little too much. And even here, you can hear them all the time. All right, you can hear them kind of do this stuff. And so I'm going to play the A minor pentatonic through those chords with some chromaticism. Let's see if we can do that. Okay. Choose them wisely, experiment, don't do them everywhere, but definitely put your chromaticisms in. Now, a special note on this whole thing. When I first saw this, I thought he was going to do this, and he does it once in a blue moon, so you can do it once or twice in a blue moon, which is on the A minor chord, all right? Great A minor pentatonic. But on the A minor major 7, you know, he lowers that root note from an A to an A flat or G sharp, however you want to see it. So on that chord change, if you're up here, just hit a half step below your root and keep in the minor pentatonic. Let's see what that sounds like. Now what you're listening for is the minor pentatonic with chromaticisms and that special G sharp note for the major minor 7th. Let's see. There it was. Okay, I'll do it one more time because it's so delicious, but you're looking for this note. Ready? Let's see. All right. Woo. And he really binds with the moment, or bonds with the moment right there. So in the A minor sequence, right, we can do an A minor pentatonic, lots of chromaticism. All right, let's get to the, on that D9 chord, you can do one of 2 things now. You can keep with the A minor pentatonic, and again, look at that D9 chord, all right? It's D, F sharp, C, A, and E, okay? The A, C, E is in that A minor pentatonic, you can keep it, and you can try to blend in some D9 chord tones. Now remember, look at this, okay? The chord tones, excuse me, or the arpeggios of a D9 chord are going to be D, F sharp, A, C, and E. It's a whopping amount of notes. And of course, when you have this kind of like bar here, it's hard to see it, but watch this, okay? D, sorry, here, all right? 2 frets back is your C. So, all right, look at this. Here's my F sharp, and you can pull it back to an E. So this right here. And then here is your A. Now, I've heard Jerry Garcia, I've heard him do this. If he's focusing on the A, you can also come up to this B, and so there's little, now you wouldn't do that in order, but you can try an A minor pentatonic on top of the D, and then throw in some D9 chord tones. Jerry Garcia is a master of this, and he's so unpredictable in terms of, okay, he did that once, and then, oh, no, look, he just did the pentatonic, okay, maybe he'll do no, he did the 9th chord tones. So it's totally up to you, and the more you get comfortable with it, comfortable with it, let's just see if we could emulate that. So I'm going to play the A minor pentatonic with some chromaticism, maybe hit that special G sharp if I can remember it. And then when it gets down to D9, I'm going to play a little bit of A minor pentatonic, but also maybe some chord tones in there. Let's see. Ooh, God, does that sound good? That sounds good. All right. Now, after the D, see, we're starting to layer here, and I hope you're enjoying this. Now, for the F, you gotta do this, all right? You want to think of your F chord tones, but you want to also put in that major minor third one. Sorry, really? There it is. There is the one. There's the major third. Here's that minor third. And then, interestingly enough, this is what's really cool here, is the idea is, here's the root. Behind it is the major 7th. Now, up until this moment, I haven't even been worrying about what key we're in. This is loosely in the key of C/A minor. A lot of things are changing in here, okay? But this whole progression, we can say, really, if you look at, like, what's the majority? Right now, it looks like an A minor/C major chord progression. And in that, an F chord can be played as a major 7th chord. And I'm telling you this, remember, Jerry Garcia always takes advantage of the chord extensions. If they're playing an F chord, and he says, man, in this key, that F chord can be a major 7th, he's going to play it. And so now here we can dress up with the F major chord tones, with the minor third, major third, little thingy, even add the major 7th. All right, and then I'll go right to the D as well. For the D minor, it's going to be the same scale with chromaticisms. Same thing, but you want to kind of like use that pentatonic. So let's see if we can put this all together and if I can say it out loud. Oh my God, A. I almost stopped saying things there. I was so entranced. All right, and we got a little bit more to go. After the D minor, B7. Well, good news. We stick with the B7 chord tones. And good news for the E7, you can stick with the chord tones, but now you can do like Jerry runs. Now, what the heck was that? To answer your question, if you've seen my In the Mind of Neil Casal video for Saturday's Children, you're kind of taking this like Mixodorian blues approach. But before we get there, we have the arpeggios, and you can easily like do a chromatic run like that. But also you can add the minor third. And so that in itself practice idea. But let's see if we can get through this first section. I hope you're enjoying this. I know this is a slow-moving video, but this is a masterclass. Take your time, come back to it, and try everything. Let's see if I can put it all together. A. There was your D, sorry. F. D minor. B7. E. All right. Ooh, man, is this sounding good. All right. Again, we'll get faster, I promise. Then you're going to do the whole thing again. A minor pentatonic, A minor pentatonic, A minor pentatonic, A minor pentatonic with some D9 chord tones, F major pentatonic chord tones with the minor third and the major seventh thing. And then A minor pentatonic, focus on the chord tones, focus on any chord tone you can see. Any chord tone you can physically see, put the chromaticisms in there. Then it goes to a D7, and really here, again, the D minor pentatonic mindset, but again with chromaticisms. All I'm doing is, and now, all right, and then for the G, same thing, just chord tones with that minor third, major third. Now let's do something really cool here, just because it's fun. If you get to this position, 4th fret of the G and and 3rd fret of the E, you can always do that sliding 6. And that takes you back to a G chord here. I explained that in my sliding 6 video. Just want to throw that at you. Let's see if I can really get everything now. I'll try and shout everything out. Sorry, I went to go shout it out, and I shouted out the wrong chord, so let me actually do it for you correctly. Starting on the A minor. Special note, chromatics. D9, F, D minor, B7, E7, A minor, D9, F, A minor, D7 with a minor scale, G chord tones. All right, woo! Woo, it's thundering. All right, so this is, again, I should have said this, and maybe I'll edit it, maybe I'll come in earlier. But we're learning everything here right now. We're just learning everything here, right? And if you want to practice it up here, which you can, and I'll play a little bit for you, I'll have that on my Patreon account, the practice sessions and bonus lessons. But right now it's about learning what the heck is going on. This is what's going on. I'm trying to do it in a close grouping, but we're right about here right now. All right. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a quick second, and I'm going to speed up the backing track, and we're going to try and hear everything in full time. So stay right there, or pause the video and try and do everything by yourself. See you in a couple seconds. All right, I sped up the whole backing track, and now I'm going to play along with everything we just did at the slower pace, but now faster so you can hear it kind of come together. I'm not going to be able to shout this stuff out loud, but I want you to see if you can watch it, and after we do this, we'll get to the ending section. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and... lost it there. Sorry. I almost lost it there, but I kept going. Hopefully that was a good example. All right, so now, hopefully this all made sense. This is such a good amount of info to practice on. I hope you're enjoying it. So what I'm going to do now, take a quick little breather. I'm going to set up the ending guitar solo and hopefully wrap this session up. Hopefully you're smiling. Hopefully you're enjoying this. And we'll talk real soon, so stay right there. All right, on to part 2. Now, this part is a gorgeous part. It comes in right at the end of the song. It goes from A to D. And Jerry Garcia changes his soloing, of course, because it's a new part. And I just want to say that if you haven't seen my Franklin's Tower video, you probably want to watch that because it's pretty much the same stuff. A little bit slower, a little bit of changes, but very, very similar. And so in this section, you're going to see this A chord to a D chord. Now, in any normal aspect, we're going to see that usually as an A, the 1 of the key of A, going to the 4 chord, the D, but not in the mindset of Jerry or the Grateful Dead. He considers it a 5 to a 1 in the key of D, A to D, 5 to 1, and that sets us up for a Mixolydian type feel. Now, what that means is we're going to be using a D major scale, but really you want to understand this is so slow and so gorgeous that we're really framing out the chord tones and the extended chord tones that go into this section, and we're sewing them together with a D major scale. Well, what do I mean by that? Okay, so on the A, now in the key of D, the A is the 5 chord. It's very important to know that. Why? Because the 5 chord can also be played as a dominant 7th. So what we're looking for really is a lot of chord shapes and arpeggio work. Now I'm going to do the whole thing in 2 spots right here, and hopefully again you're enjoying this video, but let's talk about the C-shaped A chord in the 12th fret here. We have the arpeggios 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. You also want to see the flat 7 in a C7 shape right here. That G. You want to be able to see the 1, 3, 5, the flat 7, the 1, the 3, and the 5. Oh, really? All right, so you want to see the major shape and the 7th shape. That's important. Now for the D chord, you want to see a couple things here. You want to see the D shape here, the E-shaped D chord here, but you also want to see the major 7th arpeggio, this guy here. Okay? Now, when the song is playing, yes, we can load up with a D major scale, and we'll talk about that soon, but we're just going to practice the chord arpeggios. Let's listen to what it sounds like when I focus on 1s, 3s, and 5s of both the A and the D. 1, 3, 5. So 1, 3, 5 for the A, and 1, 3. And then a 1, 3, 5, and a 1 for the D. Let's just hear that. Sounds fine, right? Sounds good. Now let's start dressing it up. Okay, so let's talk about putting in the 7 for the A7. Okay, and let's just see sometimes what it sounds like for the major 7th of the D. Now the major 7th of the D, because the D chord in the key of D can be extended out to a D major 7, something I didn't say earlier. And so, but also, okay, 11th for the D. And so I'm going to focus again just on arpeggios and seeing what it sounds like when I play 1s, 3s, and 5s, and 7s accordingly for each chord. And you can hear, okay, definitely onto something with that A7. The D major 7, we're going to talk about how it comes in and goes, but really the A7 chord tone really sounds good. All right, so now what are we going to do? Before we even get to the scale, we're going to start to sew these things together with chromatic movements and some other stuff. So the A, all right, so the A here, 1, 3. Well, it's not unheard of for Jerry to go 1, all right? That's the 2 to the minor 3rd to the major 3rd. Think about, in Franklin's Tower, when I talk about, and also previously in this video, when I talk about the minor 3rd to major 3rd. But now, you can also do 1, 2, minor 3rd, and major 3rd. Now here's a great line, okay, to get that that flat 7 to the 6. Oh, sorry, yeah, the flat 7 to the 6 to the minor 6 sharp 5 to the 5. Okay. That's 1, 3, 5, flat 7. There it is. 1, 3, and 5. I talk about this in all my videos. 5's down to the 3. And a minor third. So let's see if we can see those chromaticisms in the A. Okay, I'll do it again. There's the D. Let's see if we can get all these. Okay. Woo! You don't have to throw all them in, but you want to see the major chord arpeggio. You want to see the 7th. You want to be able to see the 5s and the 3s, because that's Jerry's bread and butter. 5 down to 3. I mentioned that in my Althea video as well. And also maybe a minor third, back up to the 3. And now for the D, same thing. Well, the D arpeggios, 1, 3, and 5. Well, here's a 1, this is a 3. Okay, you can do with the 2, minor third, 3. You can do the root, minor third to major third. And if you want to bring in a major 7th, you can. But here's, let's see, 1, minor third to major third, 5. All right, now, the idea here is also you can, and I hear Jerry do this all the time, it's not played as a dominant 7th chord. You want to stay away from this. But when you're on this 5, you can do a chromatic run from the B here, which is a 6. If you don't want to hit that major 7, you can. But the idea is 1s, 3s, 5s, and the bread and butter really is now knowing where your 6s are. They're right above where your 5 is. So 1, and then minor third, major third, to the 5, 6th chromatic. Okay, and this was a 2 here. So we're talking about intervals and everything. I want to explain this. For the D, you're looking up for the 1s, 3s, and 5s. Minor third to major third. The 5s and the 6s. Even the 1, a root note, to a 2. Or you can also take the 2 here and bend it up to a 3. So let's see what we can accomplish here. Let's see. Okay, so I was trying to really focus on those chord tones. Now, let's just say that focusing on those chord tones is like, oh my God. Well, that's where that D major scale comes in. All right, right there. And the idea is you could always use this scale to travel in between when you are taking a breath or you want to create a melody that has movement and not necessarily on the chord tone. So this is what I mean. Now listen for it. You'll hear it. All right. You know this is a long video when your camera overheats. All right. So I was about to say, using that D major scale to sew things together, you're going to hear it. So listen for my chord tones and then listen for the dancing you can do around the D major scale to kind of separate this chord tone kind of, separate this chord tone kind of playing. Let's check this out. Check it out. There it was. Here it is. So now chord tones. And then scale work. And so a balance between, a balance between, you know, hitting your chord tones and then hitting your scale work is something that Jerry is really, really good at. Now, again, Jerry Garcia he's like totally unpredictable in his phrasing sometimes and his rhythm, but this is the path that he's choosing, this one little space, okay? And that's what we're going to do today, just this one little space. So, when you listen to the ending Mississippi Half Step, it is gorgeous. It is riddled with chord tones. It's also sewn together with some D major scale work, which I'll show you again. But also, I've heard several versions of this, and I can't remember what year it was, but you're going to try and throw a G chord in there in between your A and D. So check this out. Here's an A chord. So like, you play like this. And then here's a G chord to a D chord. So there's a little G chord here. Now I'm going to cheat a little. You can do an A chord here. G chord, and then D chord. And so you can throw this stuff in your solo, and especially near the end of the solo if you want to build it up with that chord tone type thing that he does. So let me see if I can shout everything out. Let's see. I'll try and layer everything. Arpeggios. Enhanced arpeggios. Sorry, chromatics. D major scale. Chord tones. Like that. Now, you can throw all these in there together. So you have chord arpeggios, extended arpeggios, blending your major and minor thirds together, throwing in a D major scale when you want to just kind of loosen up, throwing in the G chord. There's so much to do, and hopefully you're enjoying all this. So this is just, we're wrapping up here, the end of the part 2, or the epic portion of Mississippi Half Step. And so I'll play it one more time just to see if we can get a nice, like, full example of everything. And I want you to listen, see if you can identify all of the parts. Let's see if I don't mess up. That was the jam, complete, all right? And sorry about that little cut there. So, let's unwind, let's talk. Take a deep breath. This is all the footprints and roadmaps that Jerry Garcia is using in his solo in one particular place. Again, the chart that will be for this video might be long, but I'll have it in several different places. It'll be available in my practice sessions and bonus sessions Patreon account, where I have to now film about maybe 20 videos on how I'd practice all this. But I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you can use this in your Jerry Garcia journey. And thank you so much for being here. Make sure you share and subscribe. I'm going to go and take a deep breath, and hopefully everything worked out between my video, my recording, and everything. So again, thank you. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.